So today, ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by Mr. Anthony Nyman. A lot of you watching would be local to me, Ant's also a local guy, and he has a health and fitness company called, is it Antics? Is that your trading name?
Yeah.
I've known Ant for a long time, but I've also followed his business, and there's been times where what Ant does for a living has motivated me to get myself back into physical shape. Where do I start then, I suppose? So I don't think there's many people that I know of that do what you do from the personal training, for what you do with obviously your group sessions. I don't think I've seen anyone's business probably be as big with the numbers you get to your sessions, right? So if we were to start from the very beginning, where did it start from? What made you go into becoming a personal trainer as a career?
Yeah, so personal training was not something I ever thought I would get into. I really struggled with my weight all through my teen years. Got a bit bullied because of it. Had the nickname Chunky at school. And I think it was like when I was about 16 or 17, I started exercising just in my mum and dad's bedroom. Had some like Argos weights. Just started, I was like, right, I want to change the way I look a little bit. So started exercising. Got into that. And just the longer I did that and people started to notice, it just made me want to push it a little bit more. But because I still didn't look particularly good, when it came to the point of leaving school, personal training wasn't really an option. It was just something that I did and quite enjoyed. So went and did a graphic design degree, spent 4 years there. Didn't even like graphic design.
What university did you go to?
University of Creative Arts, is it called? Something like that. Surrey Institute in Epsom. I didn't like graphic design, but I knew I needed to do something. Yeah. I didn't really have a passion. So I did that, spent 4 years there, left thinking, great, I still don't feel like an adult and I've got no idea what I want to do with my life. So I actually went and worked in David Lloyd in Cheam, and I was just doing kids classes, doing like 2 or 3 hours work a day, teaching 3 to 10-year-olds, just doing like any little class that they had there. And then the people there, the parents were like, "Ant, you're amazing with the kids." I think that's probably the first time in my life that anyone had said, "You're amazing at anything." And I liked that. And I was like, "Do you know what, maybe I am really, maybe this is what I'm meant to be doing." So I spent a couple of years there, then went down the route of thinking I'll be a teacher, because everyone was like, "You should be a teacher, you'd be an amazing teacher."
Yeah,
so went for a PGCE, I didn't get in for whatever reason, didn't get accepted at the interview. And so that was when I was 24 probably, and you're panicking a bit, you're like your mid-20s, and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Couldn't even get into this interview for a job that I didn't even particularly want. So I was like, went to David Lloyd where I was working, like, "Have you got any space in the gym?" Because I've been training myself for 7 years or whatever, 8 years. And they were like, "Well, we can put you on the gym floor, like work experience, put you through qualifications. It will take a long time." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And the very first shift I was given, I remember it was June 2010, everyone called in sick from the gym floor because it was England were playing USA in the World Cup and everyone just wanted to watch it. So they phoned me like, "Do you want to do the shift?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck, I love football, I want to watch it." But I was like, "Yep, I'll do it." Opportunity.
Yeah, man.
So did that shift. There was one person on the gym floor. It was like a 60 or 70-year-old woman. And even though I was missing the England game, I spent like 2 hours with her, showing her stuff like just equipment and how to use it. And she was like, "Oh, wow, I've never exercised like this." And immediately, it was literally like a light bulb. It's like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So it was just like, I didn't care how much money I was or wasn't making, because you don't make fuck all when you're working there.
Yeah.
It weren't about that.
Yeah,
it was like, I'm helping this person and I'm seeing the effect of my knowledge, that my knowledge is having on them. And it was like, oh, wow. So then it became, working more and more shifts there because
You found your purpose.
I found my purpose, absolutely.
It's amazing.
And yeah, did more and more shifts, then became personal trainer there.
So did you do your training with David Lloyd then?
Yeah, they put me through level 2 and then level 3. Level 2 is gym floor, level 3 is personal training. They put me through my qualifications, and it took probably a year or so.
So gym floor, so like David Lloyd has changed a lot since obviously probably when you very first started there. Gym floor, does that mean like, because I know personal training with David Lloyd, you still have to pay them to then coach you, right? But gym floor, does that mean you just go around and help anyone that needs to be helped?
So you've got gym instructors, which is level 2, working on the gym floor, and then level 3, personal trainers. So if someone books in for an induction, someone, just a level 2 gym instructor can do that, show them the equipment, and they can keep an eye on everyone, they can keep their equipment clean, that sort of stuff. So that's how you started. And then if you want to and if you're good enough, they'll put you through level 3, personal training, and that means you can start personal training people. At the time, I think it was something like £37 for a personal training session, of which the PT, I'd get, I think it was 13. I think it was, don't quote me on that, but it was something like that. So that was the aim, to get from being gym floor to being a personal trainer at David Lloyd. And there's a crossover period because you're not meant to personal train whilst doing a gym shift. Yeah. So a typical day for me, if I was opening the gym at 5:30 in the morning, I'd be up at 4:30. Yeah. You then have to go and do all the opening of the gym stuff. Like, I remember January, February being outside, -2, trying to manually undo the swimming pool covers. Your hands fucking sticking to the thing. It's freezing. It's like, there's got to be more to this job. Like, this is tough. But I had a bit of a vision that I needed to get to the point that I was a personal trainer, and I did, and got to the point where I was doing maybe an 8-hour shift, and then I would PT after that, and eventually got to the point where the PT took over. I was doing more and more PT, which meant less and less on the gym floor. And then I guess another real turning point was when someone that did a circuit class couldn't do it once, and he was like, "Ant, do you want to cover?" You're a bit nervous, and you're like, "I've never taught a class before." People tend to love the instructor, so they like what they know. So I go in, I think there was about 8 people in the class, and they're all looking at me like, this is going to be shit.
Who's this guy?
Just because I'm not the person they're used to. Yeah. And I just taught it, I put my stamp on it, because you have to believe in what you think is right and put your personality, rather it's really obvious when someone tries to be like someone else. Like, there's a lot of it. Someone makes it, and then you see so many people fucking replicate it. Look at the body coach who smashed it. Like, he's doing unbelievably well in terms of business. Yeah. But so many people have just tried to follow that lead. Yeah. Some will even make their client base based on the fact of trying to make people think the body coach is shit. Like, so there's all of that sort of rubbish. Yeah. For me, I never want to be like anyone else. Yeah. Just wanted to put my own stamp on it.
Authentic and original.
Yeah, I wanted to have fun with it, and I like to have a laugh. I like to take the piss and not take myself too seriously. And that personality is that's what people buy into. It's you. It's not what you necessarily what you're doing. It is how you're making them feel. They're buying into you as a person. And I always found that, and I stayed pretty true to that from the early days of doing that. But I very quickly grew that class from having 6 to 8 people in it. Like, it was getting...
The class that you done that first time, that wasn't obviously what you do now, but would that have been maybe doing the classes? Is that then kind of maybe that shaped now what you do? Do you think, or was it a completely different type of circuit training?
It's completely different, but it's evolved gradually. So back then it was, I remember, stations, like any other circuit class. You put a station. Yeah. I said to my girlfriend at the time, who has no idea the effect she had on my life, but I was going to do 30 seconds or a minute on a station, give them 30 seconds rest, go on to the next station. I remember her saying to me, "Don't give them a rest in between." I was like, "Oh yeah, no, maybe I won't." So in between each station, I jumped in the middle, and everyone had to copy me, which made that a little bit different. And then in time, I realised actually what people are enjoying And what's making it different, my selling point, is the bit in the middle.
Yeah.
Because anyone can put out any trainer can put out a station press-ups, sit-ups and whatever. You're not going to be different.
Yeah.
Not everyone can be you. So when I jumped in the middle and performed it to the music, so I'm listening and I'm exercising, but to the beat, and people were really enjoying that bit. As it went on, Antics became more about copying me rather than that, because then it can't be replicated.
Yeah.
That's what people wanted.
Because I think with gyms and stuff, and if we were to go back to gym floors, they're intimidating, right? Like, doesn't matter what size, shape, age, or whatever it is, until you become used to your routine, I think it's an intimidating place. I'll be honest, I never knew that there was people like that would be there to actually show you how to use it. But then that's probably because I've never probably observed it. But there was loads of times that I walked into gyms, didn't know what I was doing. There was people that did know what they're doing, and I just jogged it on and went for a sauna and steam for years. So going back to David Lloyd, like I'm 37 now, and I've had membership since I was 16. And I'll be honest, I only started using it in the last year or so. But what I've got into is classes. So the classes is what I like, because you book it, you have to be there, and then it's like team spirit, you know. So going back to what you do now, on a day-to-day thing, do you do still one-on-ones, or do you do it more just classes?
No, I did. So at the time, there's always a crossover period, and then you have to. What I think I've done quite well, I've always evaluated what my next step should be, and that's never what a lot of business people will be purely focused on. My next step means what brings me more money. My next step was I need to make at least the same, preferably more money, but more importantly, help more people and for less of my time. Otherwise, it's not a success, because there was a time, so I was doing full-time personal training at David Lloyd. It got to the point where I was doing maybe 8-10 hours personal training a day. I needed to progress to the next level. So I was like, the next level, I guess, is to personal train outside. Same amount of work, but if I'm getting £13 there and I'm charging someone, I started off, I think I was something like £40 when I was PTing originally. It went up eventually to being like £80 an hour which is when I stopped in about 2016. But yeah, I was doing, for me, that next stage meant, right, if you're doing 8 to 10 hours work at David Lloyd and getting £13 an hour, I need to do 8 to 10 hours work outside and get £40 an hour. It's the same work for me.
Yeah.
It's the same people helped.
Yeah.
I've suddenly got more than double my income. Then it got to the point I started doing, so it was a crossover. It was a Saturday morning, 6th of April 2013. I was like,
How do you remember that date?
I've got it tattooed on.
Oh,
That's how
really?
important it is to me. I've got 2 dates in Roman numerals. One is my date of birth, and the other is the date that I started living, which was when I started Antics. It's that important to me.
Wicked.
And yeah, April the 6th, 2013, I was like, I'm going to go to Overton Park, and I've been doing these classes at David Lloyd and grown them from 6 to 8 people to like 30 or 40, which was capacity for that hall. I love doing them. I want to do them outside because I do need to, I'm a bit constricted to David Lloyd, and also why wouldn't I want to earn more and more? Like if it's the same amount of work for me and have my name to it. So I started doing that, and the first class I'd 5 minutes to 10 o'clock in the morning when I was going to start. There's no one in the park, and you're like, this is shit, like embarrassing. You really put yourself out to fail, and it's a really scary situation. And 5 minutes to, someone drove in, someone I recognised, Philippa. She turned up, and then one after the other.
She was your first.
She's my
first customer.
first ever to come to a freelance class, yeah. And then in the minutes that follow, it was like just a car after car, and we had 30 people, which was brilliant. I was like, I just couldn't believe it. I didn't know if anyone's going. I was on such a high, and I was like, right. I said to him, you lot have no idea. I was sitting here shitting myself, thinking, I don't know if there's a want for me, or if anything. It means so much to me that you've turned up. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be here every single Saturday morning, and I'm going to give you everything I've got. and make sure you have an unforgettable experience. I would appreciate you coming. If you can't, you can't. But it means more to me than you realise, and I'm going to get you in really good shape. And if you can bring people, then please bring people. And then the next Saturday, it was raining. I was like, I'm not sure if anyone's going to come. And we had, I think it was 19, which I thought was still pretty good. And then 23, I think, then 26. And then very quickly it went up and up and up. We put on a Thursday class and we had 54 people come, which was the most I'd ever had. I did that one for free. And it's like, oh, wow, okay, so I'm going to be here every Saturday and every Thursday. And then the next stage, maybe a couple of years later, it became, we're going to put on a Monday class and do this. And it's got to the point, so we've been going nearly 12 years now. Our average attendance is about 150 per class. Our record is 271 in a class. The other week we had 237.
Where was your 271? Outside?
No, over in Grange School. So what I do once a year, I like to turn the sports hall
into a party.
Into a venue. So I get a stage, we get lighting, antique, like blow up light, big huge lighting and everything. And you have 250 people there, the lights off, disco lights on, and it just feels like it's a real pinch me moment, remembering the kid I was at school who wouldn't take his top off for PE because I was so ashamed of how I looked and just felt so shit about myself. And then the person who was getting rejected from interviews to go and do jobs they didn't even want, and just all of this stuff. The person that I suffered really badly with panic attacks. I've spoken loads about them before. I'm happy to talk about them, but there were many times I wouldn't leave the house for weeks on end because of these panic attacks, because they were just consuming me. So knowing that I had that, and then when I'm stood there in front of 250 people and it feels like you're in a concert, it's not an ego thing, but it is I'm really fucking proud of myself.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's like, you know, good for you.
Yeah.
Because it would have been easy to just accept that fate and take an easy job or hide away from the world. But I just had something in me. It's like, you've got more to offer. And when I'm there, and even now, even the classes that aren't, we never really get below 100 people. So
cool.
I look around, I'm like, I'm so proud of myself, but also it's a real genuine sort of ethos of what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Like, I know everyone there has got their shit going on. Some feel really low not confident to exercise, like you just said. I certainly didn't when I first ever went into a gym. Yeah. So many of them have got that going on in their mind, and I've created this space where they all look so comfortable.
It's like a safe space, isn't it?
Safe space. Yeah. You're working on themselves. Everyone just supports each other. We make a huge thing about this. It's a community. The minute you walk in, we're going to find out your name, your goals. We're going to introduce you to people.
And that's why people keep coming back, though.
Yeah.
Because, they're happy ultimately.
Definitely.
So going back to this community that you've built, Antics, the name, right? It's got a ring to it. Like, did you have that plan for a while, or did it naturally?
I got my dad to thank, to be honest.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because it's not actually, my name's Ant, obviously, but it's nothing to do with that, but it works quite nicely.
It does, mate.
Because originally it was going to be Ant Nyman training, which is what I was doing when I was personal training, and then just Ant Nyman training circuits class. And then it became, I think it was my dad that was like, why don't you call it Antics? Ant Nyman training intense circuits class. I was like, okay, wow. Cool. And as it's gone on, I kind of dropped the whole intense, because that's fucking scary for people, and it's just Antics, and it really fits with what it is, because it is Antics. It's like banter. It's like something you've not seen before. So it intrigues people.
And the word Antics means, like, doesn't it, getting up to, like,
you're getting up to
fun or
fun, mischief. Definitely, it's the connotation that comes with it. It's Antics. I want to be getting up to something with that lot and see what it's all about. So it's fitted really nicely. Yeah,
it's a great name. So just a quick one, right? So going back a little bit, I said like personal trainer, right? But actually, of course, it's personal. But you're doing it with loads of people, which is different, isn't it?
Yeah. One of the keys to our success is it is almost like personal training, 150 people. Because in so many classes, even classes that get 5 people, 10 people, you feel like a number. It's about the train. They don't know your name. It's like, cool, see you next week.
Yeah.
From the early days, every single person that came to my class, I used to message them individually after. Thank you so much. You did brilliantly. And I'd write their name. Oh, thank you, Jill, whatever. Like, because they know, I noticed. Because you've got to think, if you went to a restaurant and the staff don't look bothered and they're like, cool, and then you go, even if the food was great, you'd be like, yeah, it was all right. But if you go there and the owner comes out, Brian, thank you so much for coming. How was your visit? Is there anything I could have done better? Listen, have a great, ask about you. It's a completely different experience, which is why I need to know every single person's name.
Gratitude, isn't it, man?
And it's genuine.
It's like when you said, like, the lady in David Lloyd, when you done the kids thing, like the fact that she told you were good at it probably changed a lot of direction. You know, you stuck to, well, or you didn't stick to it, but you went and done something then because of that one person.
I think we all want to feel like our life matters and we have something more important than money, and that is we can help people. We have the knowledge to help people. So when it was saying that about teaching, it kind of almost led me down the wrong path, but for the right reasons. It was, I'm good at what I do. I've been noticed. In truth, it's not what I wanted to do. So it could have led me down a path I didn't want to go down. But with what I do, it's never going to be about the money I make. I need to make money, of course I do. But it is, I want to be the best at what I do. I have that in me. I want to be known when I'm gone, because we're here a very short time. I want to be known that he's the Antics guy. Like, and his classes were unbelievable. When I did classes at David Lloyd, like I say, £13, regardless of whether you're getting 8 people or whether you filled the sports or you're getting £13. But everyone was coming to my classes and being like, I've heard about your classes, or I've only got my membership because of, like, my mate told me about your classes. So I was like, okay, well, I need to make sure everything they've heard about me is true. They leave thinking, wow, that's the best class I've ever done. And I wanted to do the person that's recommended me proud as well. So it's always been that sort of, I want to show you how good I am. And originally it definitely was because I had such low self-esteem, hated myself, and didn't really think I had much to offer, that when I actually had that and people were telling me I was good, it felt really good.
No, it's lovely listening to you, mate. So, like, going back again, you said, like, obviously what you want to do is ultimately, I suppose, help people, right? Very similar to what we're doing with the podcast, and hence why we wanted to get you on. So we're going to be bringing in training courses and other things for people to self-develop and learn from others and create a community, both through personal stuff, through business stuff, to get like-minded people, you know, talking to like-minded people to become the best versions of themselves. We're similar ages, right? When we left school, sticking to the health and the fitness thing, I don't think it's as big as what it is now. I feel like there's been a massive change in direction, that people probably now want to feel good, you know, look good, and hopefully try and be as healthy as they can. I know there's a lot of men that I've spoken to that are literally shifting their direction, whether they've, you know, decided to stop doing this or stop doing that, and a lot of them are actively trying to get themselves both physically and mentally correct. What's the plan with yourself, obviously, with whether it's your business or your personal thing? Have you got any goals that you're looking to achieve, or anything you want to gain?
This probably sounds like it's probably a different answer to a lot of the people you'll have on, who are probably like, this is my goal, this is my vision, and I'm going to work towards it. And it's really important to have a vision. But if I look at where I am now, it was never a goal of mine to get that. My goal was to be a full-time personal trainer, freelance. I far exceeded what I wanted to do. And I'm quite wary of setting goals. I need to know kind of the direction I want to go in. But what you can fall in, or I certainly fell into the trap of thinking is, all right, I need to be there, and I'm so obsessed with being there that I'm fucking miserable until I'm there. And then what you might find is that
until you're where, like
my goal,
work
whatever, until I hit my goal. So if my goal was, I'm not going to be happy until I have 150 people in my class, I would have given up long before I got there. Because there were many times where I had 20 people in my class, and it would have seemed like that's never going to happen. And then if I think I'm going to have 150 and suddenly I'm going to find eternal happiness and I'm not going to have any challenges in my life, I'm just going to wake up happy every day, then you're in for a bit of a shock. Because you get to 150 and you go, where's room for 200? So it's never ending. So for me, rather than being, right, this is my goal, my number one goal, without any doubt about it, is always be as happy as possible. That is success to me. Success isn't earn this amount or have. You
don't like putting pressure on things, basically. You like to just push it in the right direction and kind of go
organically, with the flow. Let things grow. I don't need to put a ceiling on it. I don't need to say my goal is this, because then I'll probably be unhappy until I get there, or I'll get there and realise, well, there's more I could have. I still don't feel fulfilled. Look at someone an Olympic athlete who's working towards a gold medal in the Olympics. They spend 4 years training and they're going to wake up excited every day or whatever. What happens when they get their gold? They'll feel amazing. For how long? Not the rest of your life.
I think that's really interesting what you've just said about not putting a detailed roadmap for your goals and making it like a broader spectrum so that you're not kind of disappointed, is like how I've taken it. A lot of people would argue that you need to have those defined steps to be able to know where you're going. But I do understand that you're saying that basically tie it to a bigger moral picture, which is what we were talking about yesterday with Nathaniel. It's almost like you've got to have these clinical steps, but then as long as you've got a bigger moral story to it or what you want to achieve, then maybe you're going to get there without needing so many small steps. But a lot of people struggle to know what happiness looks like to them. So can you give any tips on how do people know what makes them happy?
It's a really good question, and you've got to be so careful not to let society define happiness or success. For me, my attitude is this: I'm going to die one day. It's a fact. I'm not going to get away with it. And I want to live the best life I can live. So what would that need to look like for me? And the best life means being as happy as I can for as longer percentage of the time as possible. So if I look at when I started there was a crossover period where I was doing personal training, Antics classes, and nutrition plans, Transform Antics plans. And I was getting like between 5 and 10 of those a day. I was doing 8 to 10 hours personal training a day. I was doing 3 Antics classes a week. I was earning a lot of money, more than I'd ever earned before. I was fucking miserable because I had no time to spend with my family, with my girlfriend at the time. Like any time I had that wasn't working, I was so stressed I had nothing in me. So I was successful in terms of what society...
But you were probably burnt out.
But I wasn't happy. So I don't need to be successful in everyone else's eyes. I'm the one living my life. I need to be happy. So I've always been like, what would I do every single day if money's no option? Regardless of if I'm earning 20 grand a year or 2 million a year, how would my life look? And it would be time. I need to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I can't be rushing around. When I'm rushing, I'm stressed. Regardless of what's in my bank account, if I'm rushing, I'm stressed. There's going to be times when things get on top of you, and if you've got kids and stuff like that, then inevitably there's going to be times where you're rushing around and all that. But generally speaking, I need to have as much time as I can so that I can be present. So when I'm walking my dog, I'm not thinking I've got to hurry up and walk my dog because
your dog's your baby, isn't it?
Oh, it hurts me when I look at her. I love her so much.
Where did you get her from?
It was a rehoming place. So she was born in Slovakia. I got her when she was 1. It was her 3rd home. She was an absolute toe rag.
She's not corgi, is she? No, not
Shiba Inu. So a Japanese breed, and they are like fiery, they're hunters. So the mixture of that and the fact it was her third home, she'd already been born in Slovakia, and but by the time she came to me, she didn't trust me. She was just a nightmare for 6 months. She trusts me now. She's nearly 7, and she's just an absolute dream. But yeah,
Who named Sushi?
me.
Are you going to say your dad there?
Nah, Japanese breed. Also, Shiba Inus have got a little tail. It looks like a sushi roll.
Ah.
Everyone's going to be going to Mr. Nyman for names. They're going to be like...
That's what I thought. I thought you might have said your dad.
If
You know what? My next business, I'm going to ask your dad's
If you
personal
look at
advice.
her, that name really, she just really looks like sushi. She's on my arm. There she is. So she's always got that smile on her face. But yeah, for me, I need time to be with my life. If money's no option, no issue, would be spending time with my loved ones, and present. So with my mum, with my dad, with Sushi. This isn't in order, by the way, with my girlfriend, with my stepkids, Aria and Gianna, with my friends, doing this stuff, seeing these people and spending quality time with them rather than being with them but not being present because I'm thinking about this, that,
I feel
and whatever.
like that's one of the benefits that kind of social media's had in a weird way, because I feel like this old school view of success was you've got to be earning loads of money, and if you're not working hard and going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and not getting up at 4 a.m, then you're probably not successful. But now it's like people are starting to respect the work-life balance or time or looking at it more. But I think from what you've just said, it seems like you did a bit of trial and error. So you obviously had 3 things going on and you realised quickly from reviewing it that you weren't enjoying that. So maybe people shouldn't be scared to try things, but then make sure they're always checking back and thinking, am I happy, am I happy, am I happy?
Definitely.
And then making change. And I think that's probably something, even when you have kids, that's another change in your life. So you might then need to look at your life and be like, oh, should I change? Or
You could just test the water.
Yeah,
And if it
maybe
doesn't
test
work
the water
out,
a bit
take
more.
a U-turn. At least you gave it a go,
Listen,
right?
the best way to ever find out what's important to you is to find out what isn't and to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll always
That's how I learned, by getting it wrong.
you'll always fantasize and be like, well, this would be amazing. It's only when you've had it and you realise, ain't that fucking amazing. Actually, it's worse. So
I think a lot of people are good at testing it and getting it wrong, but they're not good at quickly snapping out of it. Some people stay in this like cycle for some reason. So maybe that's important. I don't know.
yeah, and not being, you're just constantly asking, is this working for me? By that, I mean, is this making me feel happy and am I living a happy life? Because I could have continued to do those 3 things and earn a lot, and for what? So that other people that don't really give a shit about me would just look at me and think I've got an amazing life. Well, I've got an amazing life because I get to do what I want. I get to train when I want.
Yeah.
Whatever I did before, whether it was working at David Lloyd where I was told what shifts I had to do, or being at university, I was always clock watching. Like I want to train. It would stress me out. I've created a life whereby if that's so important to me as it is, I'm not saying it should be, but it was to me, that needs to be something that I can do when I want to do it.
So it's a quick one that's come into my head, right? So from someone who obviously knows how to train people, what do you do on a Monday to Sunday basis to keep yourself in what condition you want to be in?
I definitely feel I've got better as time's gone on. I'm going to be 40 in a couple of months, and it's about getting a good balance.
Do you work out from home then, or do you?
Yeah, I've got a gym at home.
So you don't go to like a public gym?
The same reason, time. It was like, what's the most valuable thing I have? My time. So it would make sense for me to cut out the half hour that I'd have to go get to the gym, the half hour that I'd come back, and the stress of waiting for people to use the equipment.
Yeah.
I want to limit stress in my life and maximise time in my life. So having a gym at home would give me that. So
it's a very efficient way to look at things.
and it's not a luxury, it's a priority. It's about knowing.
So do you train mornings, evenings, or whenever you fancy it?
In the morning. So my normal day will be, I wake up at 6 o'clock and then I'll normally spend, the first thing I'll do, I'll put positivity out in the world through my social media. So I'll put a post up to just almost put an arm around people and be like, sometimes it's advice, sometimes it's just like comforting stuff, but something that's like, right, if someone's read that, they might be left in a better place. And so immediately I feel quite good for that. And then what I do, I spend anywhere between 2 and 4 hours working on my next Antics class. So that is a case of getting my playlist sorted, getting it spot on, because it's not just put music on.
That's a big thing, a playlist.
You've got to get it spot on. The BPM, so beats per minute of each song, needs to be perfect for the exercise that I want to do, but also get the vibe right, because
massive.
People will remember how you made them feel. So it can't just be brutal, hardcore. If people are thinking this is so fucking tough, they ain't going to enjoy it. I've got to get that mixture of that, but also the stuff that's going to leave them feeling a certain way. Yeah. And that will include a cool down song where we're all singing and little stuff, things like that, because that's what they'll go and remember, swaying their arms.
Hey, there's a lot talking to you, just like, it's easier than it looks, right? Like all the thoughts that all the things you do behind the scenes sets
Thank you.
standards.
No, I appreciate it, because I think people, naively, some people might think, and I don't mind it looking effortless, but might think he puts music on, he exercises, and 150 people turn up. That's probably what, and I've had many people try and do what I do. Some have come to classes and then got inspired and then got qualified and then tried to do it, then get 2 people turn up for a few weeks and then they give up.
Now, your I want to say your business, but I know it's more than a business. Like, obviously, whatever we would call your movement is consistent, isn't it? And the reason it's consistent is you can see it by the numbers of people keep turning up. So you're obviously clearly doing something correct.
Consistency is, I mean, you got to be consistent with the right things. You can't be consistent. I've consistently ate a pizza every day. Like, whatever you're doing, you need to be consistent with. But I think the reason so many people aren't consistent, whether it's with their training or with their starting a business but not seeing it through, is because a lot of people's actions is determined by whether they see the immediate effect.
Yeah,
which is
why
time. It's why I say if you wouldn't take a knife and cut yourself, because immediately you see the effect of that, and that's not good for you. But if you eat a chocolate bar, or more importantly, skip a workout, you see no difference. And that's when people go, well, it's not working. So what's the point? You trust the process and you're consistent with it. So you'll see me post the same, like at 7 o'clock, at 6 o'clock every morning, you'll see me post that. At 7 o'clock every morning, you'll see next class is. Throughout the day, you'll see a couple of transformation stories. Straight after a class, you'll see a post which I've prepared before, saying this many people, smash class, all the information, please share this, go into a draw. You've seen that for 12 years, and it's consistent. And if I don't post it one day, nothing will happen. It won't affect my numbers.
Yeah.
But that's the dangerous bit, because people, well, maybe I don't need to. You need to.
And people pattern spot as well. So a lot of them are like waiting for that little message at 6 a.m., or they want to know what the next class is. Because also people get busy. So if you're not putting up the arrows for the direction, they then might skip a class and then, get into, another direction that they want to just stay to the plan.
I think that the reason that your classes are so special is your vibe. It's like you're a viber, like an energy person. And for some people, they really need someone to bring them a vibe and an energy. Ryan's the same. If he goes into the office and it's a bit deflated in there, he's really good at like bringing up the energy. And I think that's important to people, right? Because we're all supposed to be around other humans and be in a community. And often now we're alone a lot. What sort of tips or things could you think to give people to kind of make sure they be able to create that energy that you've got? What is it that makes your energy or your mindset?
I think the first thing is you have to be real to yourself. So don't try and be something you're not, because it will come across very obvious. Okay, so if you want to be vulnerable with people, be vulnerable. If you want to have a laugh with people, have a laugh, but don't act, because it will come across. So I try and stay really present when I'm talking to people. So whether it's talking to you now, whether it's talking to someone who comes to their first class. So if you come to my class for the first time now, and I'm going to say, how are you? I'm going to look into your eyes and I'm going to try and talk not just to your ears, but sort of to your mind and to your soul and be like, right, I need to put myself in this person's shoes. I know I'm confident here, but this person isn't. So what do you need from me? Is this someone who's quite loud anyway and wants to have a laugh with me so I can banter with them? Or is it someone who's standing there like that and I go, right, listen, I'm proud of you already for coming, because it's quite a nerve-wracking thing, and immediately put them at ease. So
you're a bit of a chameleon.
Definitely. It's not about me. It's what do you need from me? How can I...
It's engagement, isn't it? You're engaging
How can I make you feel special and important, and what version of me do you need?
Yeah.
And eventually they'll come out of themselves, and it's beautiful to see so many people...
You'll cater for their needs.
Definitely.
Right? And like you say, for instance, I suppose as well, what do they want out of it? And then you'd be able to then, okay, well, this is what I would do, or, this, I don't know if it's different. What we're going to be doing is catering for people. What do you want? What course that? Or what can we do to help? Obviously, with your one, I think because there's a lot of people there, naturally, other people are going to inspire other people. There's going to be different people that are different shapes and sizes. I want to look like that, or I want to be like this, or they've made me laugh. And do you know what? You're making people become friends. So let's go straight onto that. From people that are going there must have been... You probably set up some relationships, haven't you?
There's been a marriage.
Really?
Definitely.
Yeah, you're the best man?
I won't go into too many details, but they don't come anymore, and I don't think they like me anymore. It's fine. They would do well to remember that they met at Antics, but that was to do with a trainer that I once had. That went a bit sour.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
She was related to her. So
it
is what it is. I'm happy for them. That's cool. But there's definitely been some other relationships.
Because I've seen sometimes you guys have had like nights out and stuff, haven't you?
We always do a Christmas.
That's nice.
A Christmas do, and normally take over the Harrow in Cheam, and there's normally like over 100 people, and honestly it's brilliant because there's so many people there. Life's quite lonely now, especially in the day and age we're living in, when you can even be surrounded by people and you can be lonely because people are just glued to their phones.
Yeah, I agree.
And like at Antics, I look around, whether it's at the Christmas party or whether it's like in class, before class, or in the breaks, I look around and I see everyone's chatting. Not people that just know each other, people that didn't know each other before. And I'm like, some of them have got real shit going on and wouldn't be in a good place, but they're here with people knowing their name and having a laugh with them and just talking and making them feel like important and just like they're noticed in life. And it's so important. And that definitely comes from the place where I felt so unnoticed all through high school. I was fucking tiny.
I think phones, mate, gets the better of us all. I mean, I don't say there's a couple of people that I know that just aren't bothered by phones, right? But the majority of us, unfortunately, have been hooked onto it. And, that's our age, or even like people 10 years above or 10 years younger. But obviously the generation that are at school now, like that's all they know. I mean, my son's 3 and he can ring people. Like he can literally use an iPad. Like, so I think definitely it's good for people to meet up with people in person and have like face-to-face contact and face-to-face conversations, especially since COVID. I mean,
it's got to be the single biggest reason why, despite living in the most privileged times with the most opportunities, we are, I would say, without doubt, the most unhappy, low in confidence, low in self-esteem, lonely generation. And that is because it is human interaction that we need. As humans, that is what we're about. That's why 100%. The happiest places in the world are normally the poorest countries where they work in communities.
Community is the big word, I think. Like that's huge. I don't think the world's probably ever been like this before. We haven't gone through a time where probably the world shut down, and it was only a few years ago. And obviously no one really talks about COVID or whatever, but when everyone got locked down, man, I mean, that's madness. And now we're probably like, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago? Maybe?
Yeah, it was 2020, wasn't it? So yeah, it was like 4 or 5 years. But yeah, it was, I don't remember, they tried to suggest, obviously they do a little working from home or avoiding going to theatres and stuff like that. You watch it online. You're missing the point. Yeah. It's not about the performance. Yeah. It's about experiencing it with other human beings. It's the human interaction that we need. Contact. That is why Antics can't be replicated in terms of, like, we have online Antics Flex, and it's great because you can get a great workout in, but nothing replicates being in a hall with 150 people, all ages, all sizes, all backgrounds. Some have got 8 stone to lose. The girl that does it with me, Sophie, who's now, like, she's my best mate. I can't speak highly enough of her.
Yeah.
She walked into a class for the first time in 2015. So October 2015. So, like,
just very good with times and figures, aren't you?
Mate, autistic, I swear. Like, I'm like Rain Man. Like,
Yeah,
I remember everything in too much detail, but it was October 2015 she walked in. She was one of those, bit nervous. Yeah. She wasn't in good shape. And like I always say, it's like, right, just stick with us. You're only against yourself. And anyway, she'd done every class since. She's lost 7 stone. Wow. She's now a trainer with me. Like, so she teaches every class with me. And I look over, you know what it's like. It's difficult to get staff that really care, and it's quite demoralising because it's like, I don't expect you to care about it as much as I do because it's mine, but I do expect you to respect me and be grateful for the opportunity. And this girl will come in early every time, wearing a uniform, big smile on her face, and she looks like she's having the best time every single class. And that makes me enjoy class that much more because I'm looking over, see her smiling, see her singing, and knowing
she's your wing woman.
She's brilliant. And seeing how she created herself from being a 21-year-old girl, not in very good shape, and not very healthy, more importantly, to being someone, she looks incredible and she inspires so many people. That's amazing. So watching that journey and seeing her grow like that and having her next to me, just having fun, like, yeah, she's brilliant. So I'm really grateful for her.
That's amazing. Well. Going back to Antics Flex, right? I remember, did you at some point do something with Flex FM?
Yeah, so it came about because in 2017, I got someone I know, DJ Solly. I just said to him, like, I want to take Antics to the next level. I've not really seen a DJing class. Could that work? And he was like, we could make it work. Up to then, I'd always known what songs I was playing, so I could practice or I could rehearse, I could know exactly what I'm doing as a wedding. This was going to be a risk because, like, he's going to be in charge of the music. I'm just going to have to back myself to listen to the music and on the spot react and whatever. So I could get a feel like, but so that was quite scary. But 2017, he did a class. People loved it. We had 147 come to that one. And then it's like, right, he's going to be here every Monday. And then eventually we made it Monday and Thursday. And yeah, that was good. That really helped get a bit of because it was just something different. You've always got to be one step ahead, haven't you, and think of something different. And I was like, what would I like at a class? Well, how cool would it be to have a DJ? And he was brilliant. So we did that. Doesn't DJ at my classes anymore. We're still on great terms. He's my mate. But so he works at Flex FM. So we set up Antics Flex online. So for $9.99 a month, it's me working out with a guest at Flex FM. Solid.
Are you still doing that now?
We filmed loads.
Yeah.
Once we're allowed to meet up after lockdown, we filmed 100 or whatever. So we've still got that on the website.
Wicked.
So people can just sign up for that and do those whenever. I should film more, and I will. But
again, the time thing.
It is the time because it's difficult. It takes a lot out of you. Like if you're filming 5 workouts in a day,
filming's tiring.
It is tiring, mentally tiring, and obviously physically tiring 100%. As well. So it will happen, but I'm not going to put a date on it and a time and be one of those bullshitters and say, no, this is coming soon or whatever.
You just know it's on the direction, you know, and it doesn't matter if it's a year or a week.
The fact is there's a lot there that you can still get a lot out of Antics Flex with all the workouts that I've already got on
really
it.
Good.
But really good. If I want to film more, then we will.
I feel like we're seeing these patterns of qualities, like even Ant's, like some of the things he's describing, like the chameleon effect, like that is something that is so important, like someone that's able to adjust to different personalities, and that's across all types of business and your personal life, like whether you're going into a customer's house.
I think, you know, like it's a coach mentality. Like there's difference between managers and coaches, and I think a coach is someone that will basically become the person that needs coaching needs.
But it's not always coaching, because it's sometimes sales. like it goes on to so many aspects being the comedian, and like making someone feel comfortable and knowing what they want out of something rather than thinking of your own end goal, basically. No, it's really
Ultimately, look, if you want to grow a business, regardless of what your business is, whether it's what you do or what I do, it's all the same thing, and it is you need to add value to people's life.
Yeah. Do you know what they're like? Like, life's a journey, right? And you go through changes. They say you change every 7 years. And like, my biggest change ever, one was having children, and two, I lost my mum 2 years ago, right? And then that was like everything that when I was younger was like, probably actually because of being rejected at football, right? It then put me on this warpath that I was like, right, I'm going to work for myself and I'm just not going to stop and just relentless, right? And then there was just a bad day, and, you know, what the person that brought me into the world just disappeared from, you know, underneath my hands. So that's now changed my focus, right?
Is she unwell or?
I don't, maybe underlining, but nothing, you know, I probably knew about. And if I could turn back the hands of time, obviously I would. But I remember so many times she'd be like, Ryan, get off your phone, Ryan, get off your phone, Ryan, get off your phone. But I was just business mentality, like just fully focused on the end goal, which actually the end goal always was like to get somewhere that I could bring up my family, right? And I feel like now with buying a farm, I'm kind of at, like, let's talk about goals. I've kind of scored that goal. And now I'm like, okay, now what's next? And now I feel like I want to work with more people, whether that's me helping people or whether that's people helping me, right? And like the first year of the grieving period, like, I didn't know what was going on, just literally was probably going out and drinking and eating crap and just becoming probably a bad version of myself. And then a new year, not now, but this time last year, I just smashed the gym. Just kept turning up, and like you said, then got results, and then people start going, "Oh, you look like this now," blah 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 blah. So now this year for me is the podcast. For me is now what I want to do, because I feel like for me, the one thing I can do is talk. So I might as well just put, you know, that thing that I've been gifted, an opportunity to keep talking to people. And I think if I can talk to people, hopefully I can help people. And I've got a good network of contacts, whether, you know, it's business or personal related, that I'm just going to put people together. I want to start a thing called networking, which is, you know, just probably meet up with similar people and just go for a walk and get your steps in, because everyone loves their watches now when they get their steps in, you know. To summarise, what there's been, I think a few occasions, maybe 2 or 3, you'll probably know more because you're better at numbers than me, where you've said, "Oh, Ryan, come down to Antics," and for whatever reason, the time for me, whatever, it didn't happen, right? So now I'm definitely going to come if the offer's still there.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to look forward to it. And do you know what, mate? I'm going to, because I've done my bit of training before, now I'm ready for it. And I feel like, you know, fitness is a scenario that, you know, it can be intimidating when you're not feeling good or whatever, or looking good. So it's always just good to start. So for people that are watching that, you know, want to probably, you know, start their journey into health and fitness, or continue their journey or whatnot, or even mix it up a little bit, what classes have you currently got face-to-face with people, and where is it?
So it's always worth keeping an eye on the socials, because things can change.
Is that where you put, so not your
website?
website?
Yeah, I mean, we've got
more,
a website, which is anticsfitness.com. We'll always update that, but it will always be on the Facebook page, which is Antics New, and the Instagram, which is at PT Ant Nyman.
Yeah.
So you'll always find it there. So it's always worth checking. At the moment, the 3 classes we have, which should be that way for the foreseeable, are Saturday mornings at Sutton Grammar.
What time?
10:30 a.m. So that's opposite where B&Q was.
It's gone now, B&Q there, isn't it?
Yes.
It's gone, yeah.
Yeah. Monday evenings, Overton Grange School, so that's also in Sutton.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes from there. That's at 7:30. Thursday evenings are at Nonsuch Girls, which is next to David Lloyd in Cheam, and that's at 7:15. First class is completely free. After that, you can either pay as you go, £10 per class, or you can get entry to all classes in a month, normally 13 classes for the price of 6 if you get a gold card. So it works out under a £5. So as long as you can do over 6 classes in a month, it's worth doing that. That changes slightly in the summer when we move outside from May. So depending on when this is going to go out, we'll probably be moving to Overton Park. May to like September, we move outside. May to August, move outside to Overton Park, then we move back inside from September. like I say, always keep an eye on the socials just in case something comes up and we have to change a venue.
Yeah.
Last minute. But the main reservation I will always hear from people, because I hear a lot of like, I really want to come, and it's normally they don't feel fit enough, they don't feel ready. You need to understand, I set this whole thing up with the view of, I was so unconfident exercising, I want to create this safe space where it doesn't matter if you haven't exercised for 30 years since you're at school. Like, if you get out of breath walking, then you come and march on the spot, and no one's going to bat an eyelid. Everyone's just proud of you. You do whatever you can do, and the more you do, the more you come, the more you do, and eventually you will get to the point like Sophie, who wasn't doing a lot 9 years ago, who is now does everything, and it's like I say, she's a trainer. I can't promise that I'll give you a job, but like that is the journey.
You get a job anyways if it's after a certain amount of time,
yeah,
right?
After 9 years, you can get
yeah.
No, to be fair, like if you're with us 9 years, your life's going to be pretty amazing anyway, in many aspects. So
it's very positive, though. I feel like if you do a bit of exercise, like the endorphins that get released, mate, it is at times like the first couple of drinks. If you are going out to have a drink, it makes people happy, doesn't it?
I wish people knew that it wasn't just spiel, like, it makes you feel good, the endorphins, all that. I wish the first thing that people should do, whether they get rejected from in a relationship or a setback or let go at work or anything, the first thing you should do is get yourself in fucking good shape.
I agree.
Because whatever happens to you in life will seem a lot less harsh.
It makes you more resilient.
If you feel good about yourself.
100%.
If you don't feel good about yourself, you need other stuff. You
Yeah.
need people to tell you you're good enough. You need partners. You need people to fancy you. You need likes on social media. You need followers. You need to get accepted for jobs. You need people to come to your business because you don't feel good about yourself. So when I started, there was an element of that. I didn't really like myself that much. So I needed people to validate me by going, oh, he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Then when you get to the point where I am now, I do feel pretty good about myself.
Good for you.
I don't need it from other people. It's nice that people like me. It's nice that people come to my business. I hope my girlfriend likes me. But if people decide that they don't like me for whatever reason, it's probably because they just don't want to like me.
And you're different people anyway.
Exactly.
Not everyone's
They're
going to ever
entitled
get
to
on.
that. And
exactly. You need that in life anyway. In life, you need to have people who are different, and we just need to accept that.
Yeah, and there will be a lot of people. The better you do, the more people ain't going to like you, because there's going to be a lot of jealousy. So you can't really worry about that. If you know you're a good person, and I know that my intentions are pure, I really want to help as many people as I can. Like, that is the ethos of my business, and everything I do is help as many people. So if anyone chooses not to like me, then they just don't want to fucking like me, do they?
No. Mate, listen, I think you've done very well, and I think continue what you're doing, and I'll 1,000% be down soon for a class.
Should we shake on it?
100%.
Shake on it.
Thank you very much for coming in
camera.
as well, because listen, mate, the thing is, with it, there's been times you've invited me and I haven't shown up, right? So I really appreciate you coming today.
It's a pleasure, man.
Honestly,
I'm
I really appreciate it.
privileged to have been asked. I love what you're doing as well, so thank you very much.
Perfect, man. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share and follow. And stick to the game plan.